back, ladies and gentlemen, to the All We Do Is Talk podcast, where all we do is talk sports. We're talking tight ends today with my man Isaiah and Moody. How we doing today, boys?
What's
Doing
up, y'all?
well,
How y'all
doing
doing out
well.
there?
All right, so tight ends today should be interesting. Obviously, some clear-cut guys at the top, but the bottom should have some interesting players going.
Yeah, I mean, for this one, we're gonna start at the top and go work our way down because I'm pretty sure the top is gonna be pretty similar. So I'll just start with my top four. I think this is the consensus best four tight ends in the league. I'm interested to see how Moody feels, but I've got Mr. Travis Kelce. He's paving his way to be the greatest tight end of all time. I've got the best two-way tight end in the league, Mr. George Kittle. He's the people's tight end. And I've got the best move tight end in the league, Mr. Darren Waller, matchup nightmare. And then number four, I've got Mr. The most relied on tight end in the league, Mr. Mark Andrews from the Baltimore Ravens. And my five, just to round out the top five, is Mr. Jonnu Smith, who I think is the second best move tight end in the league. How you feel about that, Moody?
Obviously the top three are chalk. Like you really can't go wrong. George Kittle deals with another year of injuries. He can easily be getting jumped for two by Darren Waller just because Darren Waller is such a beast, especially as a receiver. I think Darren Waller might be a better receiving threat than George Kittle, just like off of his natural hit, like just size and his talent as a guy. No one that big should be able to move the way Darren Waller moves.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, former receiver turned tight end.
At four, I got Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts is stepping right in, and he's the best of these guys of the rest right away. I already think he's better than Mark Andrews and anybody else that we're going to name on this list. Yeah, just supremely talented. Like you don't like draft this guy on a 4-12 team and trade away their number one receiver unless you think this guy's about to be special. I think they're going to use and abuse him on a team that's going to be passing the ball a lot. I expect a lot of big things out of Kyle Pitts. He's my number four.
And what's your
And
number
five, just to round it out.
Five, just to round it out. Oh, Mark Andrews at five. He, like you said, he's the most relied on tight end in the NFL. I don't think he's this elite talent. I like him as I think he's a real solid possession tight end with the ability to make something happen after the catch for sure. But I don't think he just has the overall talent and ability of the other guys on this list.
All right. To reply to you, I don't believe Kyle Pitts is really a tight end. I consider him a receiver. So he's my honorable mention because I need to see if he's going to be used as a inline tight end even 50% of the time. I'm going to have to see the translation before I buy all the way in because I still will never get fooled by the tight end position ever again in the draft. Eric Ebron, O.J. Howard, Njoku, Evan Ingram. It doesn't matter who it is.
Brandon Pettigrew.
It doesn't matter who it is. The position just doesn't translate to the NFL like people think. So I guess, do you have Smith on your list? I just asked if you have Smith on your list.
No, man, my bad. Yeah, Josh Smith actually didn't make my list. I know he got a big bag from the Patriots, and then the Patriots ended up signing the better tight end in Hunter Henry later. So even though he's dealing with a camp injury right now, his injury issues are well spoken. But yeah, Jonnu Smith, I like Jonnu Smith a lot. I definitely think he deserves to be like an honorable mention on this list. If not, he's probably 11 for me if I had to assume. But I think he was more a product of the office that he was in than his own ability to be a special difference-making tight end.
So do you have Hunter Henry on your list?
Hunter Henry is on my list.
So I'll just flip it. Hunter Henry is my 11. He's my first honorable mention. So I think Jonnu Smith's better than Hunter Henry. The injury history for Hunter Henry is just there's not a player in this league that's more that you know that you're going to get an injury from than Hunter Henry. I just think Jonnu Smith's I like Jonnu Smith's ability to be a move tight end a little bit better than Hunter Henry's ability to give you 5 to 10 games of almost elite inline tight end play. So, I mean, I'll just round out the rest. I'll just go best of the rest just to knock them all out. At 6, I've got the guy who I think has the ability. The next two guys I think have the highest upside. The two Iowa guys, I've got TJ Hockenson. Love the new hair he's got going for him. I think he has the ability to move up a lot, specifically because he's going to be on a pass heavy team that's going to be playing from behind a lot. And they lost 2 of their weapons, and he's kind of the only real pass threat they have. I have Noah Fant, who I thought was a better tight end coming out because I just like his movability better. I think he could be he has a chance to be moving up to that jumping Andrews into that Waller, Kelsey, Kittle range if everything works out and they get some solid quarterback play, especially if they were to get like an Aaron Rodgers there in Denver. At number 8, I got a guy who I think is really underrated, but he's got some injury problems. I got Dallas Goedert for the Philadelphia Eagles. Watch this guy a lot. Needs to stay healthy. He usurped as soon as he reached the point where he was good enough, he instantly usurped Mr. Zach Ertz, who's on my honorable mentions.
Still waiting on that trade, by the way. Still waiting on those 2 second-round picks.
Dallas Goedert, yeah, he's clearly the best tight end, and good luck for them. Zach Ertz, I still think can play. I just think he's on the back end of his career. At number 9, I've got the Gronkowski. What more can we say about the future Hall of Famer? I think he's definitely tailed off from being that a dominant full-time player because we are talking about injuries. He's got an injury list like no other, and he's just so big, and his body's starting to break down a little bit. But we saw him in the Super Bowl. That's Gronkowski. As long as he's got Tom Brady throwing him the ball, he'll be effective. At number 10, I have another underrated guy. I have Mike Gesicki of the Miami Dolphins. Tailed off a little bit, but I'm going to blame Tua Tagovailoa for that, for him. I like him. I think he's reached his peak. I don't know if he's going to be able to develop into anything more, but that's Mike Gesicki, good player now. To round out my honorable mentions, to not forget some guys, because I think the back end is loaded with guys who could make the jump. Like I said, Hunter Henry. I got to see about Kyle Pitts, what he's going to be. I think he's a receiver. If they use him as a move tight end more, we'll see. Like a Darren Waller type, he'll definitely be into the top 5, no problem. Zach Ertz, hopefully he gets traded to a team like Buffalo. I think he'd fit that system really well. I got Mr. Austin Hooper for the Cleveland Browns. A little overrated, a little overpaid, but still good at what he does. Robert Tonyan from the Green Bay Packers, 10 touchdowns last year. Being a red zone threat as a tight end is the main thing I'm going to look for. And next I got Evan Ingram, the most inconsistent tight end of the group, but probably just as high of a ceiling to make a jump. Right behind him, Gerald Everett. I think he'll be a beast in Seattle. And then Tyler Higbee in LA. I mean, it's a good group of guys, but that's
you have
that's
tier
how I go with
1.
that.
You have tier 1. You have some mess of tier 2, and there's everybody else. Like that's basically the tight end list. So instead of like just going back and forth about your list, I'll just reveal mine, and then we can just talk about the differences. At number 6, I got T.J. Hockenson. I already think T.J. Hawkinson's one of the better tight ends in the league because his blocking floor is so high that it puts him ahead of a lot of guys. And I just think it's been more of his, like the passing scheme and the situation he's been in more than it's been his inability to produce as a pass receiver. And tight ends take the longest to translate. That's just always the way it's been. Tight ends have a real hard time going from elite college prospects to elite NFL players. Usually those guys take a while, which is why you'd rather take them later on than taking them in the top 10. And number 7, I had Austin Hooper. I actually like Austin Hooper a lot. I think his numbers got diminished from being in that 50-50 run pass split in Cleveland. But as far as his overall talent goes, I think he's one of the best red zone tight ends in the league. He's great at scoring touchdowns. He dealt with injuries and some COVID last year, so I fully expect him to bounce back this year. He's not really the athletic move type, but he's big, solid possession. He you can trust him to make tough contested catches for you in the red zone. At number 8, I got Gronk. Gronk's one of the 2 or 3 best tight ends ever already. His legacy's more than cemented. He's just racking up extra hardware at this point. But yeah, we know Gronk gets an automatic spot on the list until he decides to retire because Tom Brady's throwing him the football. At number 9, I had Dallas Goedert. I think Dallas Goedert is probably talent-wise should be higher on this list. But unfortunately, him being in Philly with Jalen Hurts, I don't expect him to have really developed more than what he already is at this point. But as far as talent goes, he's one of those guys who could be a special move, in line, out in the slot, outside type of tight end. I like Dallas Goedert a lot. And at number 10, I have Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry's number 10 on this list, I think, because of his injury problems. He's definitely a more talented tight end. He's one of the more natural tight ends in the NFL. It's a position he was born to play. He's in a perfect situation in New England, but as we know, with the injury issues going on the way they have, you can't really expect too much out of him. If I had to do an honorable mention, definitely Jonnu Smith would be on the list. He's also in New England because they gave out 2 back contracts to tight ends for whatever reason. But if it works for them, Jonnu Smith could be one of those guys who can be excellent as a movable piece. I like Noah Fant a lot too. He started off the season really well last year in Denver, but he kind of tailed off in the middle halfway point. But that was probably because of their quarterback issues more than anything. But I think his inability to block, because he's like a net negative type of blocker, I think hurts his overall. Because that's a tight end, you got to be able to block. That's an important skill for you to have, unless you're an elite pass receiver, and he hasn't been that yet. But yeah, that would be my top 10. Go ahead and Roger. You routed yours out, right?
Yeah, I got one more guy that I had named here, but he's named. I just put him as his last name, and that's how I forgot about him. But a guy that I think is actually, he just got a contract extension and for the Washington football team. Logan Thomas. I'm not gonna skip out on putting his name out there. I thought he had a better season than Evan Ingram last year, and
he did.
That's unfortunate to say. I don't know if he's gonna ever be anything more than what he is now. But what he is now is a serviceable tight end, and he used to play quarterback in college. So
the tight end position is so shallow that if you get a guy who looks like he could be a consistent starter for you, that's more than good enough.
Yeah, but I think our list were about the bottom wise. I mean, you had Hockenson at 6. I had Hockenson at 6 as well. You had Gronk at 10 or
I had Gronk
8. I had Gronk at 9. You had Goddard at 9.
Yeah.
You had Goddard at 9. And I had Goddard at 8. I had Gesicki and Font. You went with Hunter Henry.
Gesicki would be a honorable mention too. He's really good.
Yeah. You went with Henry and Hooper. So I mean, It's about the same. I will say Gerald Everett and Evan Ingram, they have the chance to become that supreme move tight end. We're just waiting to see it.
And then if we're doing sleepers, I got one last one for you coming off the torn ACL, the New York Giant killer Blake Jarwin. I think he's going to be the Cowboys tight ends for your fantasy teams. They're not going to be getting covered at all. So go ahead and look out for those cheap fantasy points.
And if we're plugging our team, then I got to go ahead and plug Kyle, Rudolph, the red zone reindeer. Come on. He won the game against the Saints. I don't know how effective he is going to be as a non-red zone catching guy, but he's elite in the red zone, and he's one of the guys that can still block really well.
He's a solid bet. That's for sure.
I mean, the position's got probably like 20. It's probably 20 deep with serviceable tight ends in the league. The problem is just the drop off after the top 5 is into the unknown. So Eric, how you feel?
I mean, yeah, I feel the same way as y'all about the clear cuts. One has Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball, so that helps a lot.
He was good before Patrick.
He was great before that, though.
Like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, but Mahomes is what's getting him to the GOAT. Is what's getting them the GOAT conversation, because
that's what the second half will do for you.
Yeah,
his second half has been clearly better than his first half.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, yeah, the bottom, I mean, it falls off, but they're very serviceable. I like Hunter Henry a lot, but he gets hurt so much. It's every year, multiple times. I've struggled with him on fantasy sometimes.
Let it go, like the Odell Beckham Juniors of the world. Just let it go. The guy gonna be hurt.
I don't know. I saw Dallas Goedert playing craps at the casino in Philly after they beat Dallas to go to the playoffs 2 years ago. That was cool. But so he'll always be.
He's underrated. He could play.
Yeah,
he's very sucks good. That he has to be on the Eagles.
Yeah. Hate to see it.
How about the Iowa guys, Eric? How you feel about the Iowa guys? I'm high on one of them.
I like TJ more than Noah Fant. I think he can catch. I just like what he can do more. And
then I mean, is there much more to say about Gronkowski other than that's Robert Gronkowski?
He's tight end GOAT. Like, come on.
Hey,
he's tight end GOAT.
With Brady,
Tony Gonzalez was still better. Tony Gonzalez
was great, but Gronk's got 4 of these of me splitting hairs. Like, man, I've never seen anyone stop Gronk when it was time to stop Gronk. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless he had a 50% ankle, Chase Blackburn can moss him in the Super Bowl.
I'll
give you your shout out, Isaiah.
Kyle Pitts, Eric, how you feel about Kyle Pitts?
I think he'll.
Do you think he's a tight end?
I mean, I think they'll try him at tight end to start, but
exactly.
At worst he can be a receiver.
I think they're gonna try to replace him with Julio Jones. We're using him to replace Julio Jones.
You think they're gonna start with him out wide?
I think he's gonna be out wide a lot more than people think. Because I mean, if they drafted him to do
He has to.
inline stuff, it has bad decision written all over it.
Disaster written all over it for sure. He has to be in the Jimmy Graham role. What Jimmy Graham was doing in New Orleans with Drew Brees, 50% tight end, 50% slot receiver. That's what just Kyle Pitts should be doing.
Or even what they're doing with Waller
for
in
tight end for
LA.
fantasy, I am fine with it.
Which he will, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, he's probably going to be the best you're getting a Darren Waller, souped up Darren Waller is what you hope if you're taking him in the top 5. That's all I got to say. Last question is 2 guys that are going to rise and 2 guys that are going to fall. Which I got?
If he stays healthy this year, I definitely think Hunter Henry is a guy who should be a big riser because of his natural ability, I think he should easily be comfortably a top 5 tight end. But unfortunately, with his injury issues, you gotta always be worried about that. The next guy I would probably say from my list who should be a riser would be probably TJ Hockenson. To be honest with you, TJ Hawkinson's got top 3, 4 tight end ability. He could be George Kittle type. He could be
You think Jared Goff
Kelce
did him there?
You said what?
You think Jared Goff is gonna produce?
Probably not. Probably not.
Luckily,
but
bad quarterback play is least impacted tight end.
Team.
Yeah,
he's
bad
the only
quarterback play is gonna be the least impactful thing on tight ends, in my opinion.
Go
ahead,
Jared Goff isn't a great quarterback, but we've seen Jared Goff be average to above average. They're very good. So Jared Goff has at least a floor of average. I can play NFL quarterback type of football, and I think that'll be enough to get TJ Hockenson the numbers he needs to be a high riser on the list. As far as fallers, I'd probably say Gronk has at some point has to come off the list. You would think, just because he can't get any higher at this point, and you would hope other guys would finally step up and be better at it. And then George Kittle could be a faller on this list. He dealt with a bunch of injuries last year, and guys are coming up on him, man. Darren Waller had one. If it wasn't for what Travis Kelce was doing last year, we would be talking more about Darren Waller. That is for sure. He is one of those matchup problems that just can't be stopped, unfortunately, for a lot of teams. So if George Kittle is messing around with injury problems, if Jimmy Garoppolo can't get him the ball, or they're going with Trey Lance, and Trey Lance wants to throw the ball outside, and they want to run the ball, George Kittle could take a little bit of a tumble. But, yeah, those would be my guys. What about you, Isaiah?
I agree with your fallers. Gronkowski, because how much longer can Gronkowski continue to survive all the injuries and all the usage and continue to be a top 10 tight end? It'll be more worse on the other guys behind him if they don't start jumping Gronk. And if Kittle has another injury-plagued season, then he'll join the Hunter Henry class of great player, but has been hurt a lot. And he has the highest potential, I feel, of all the guys because he does it two-way elitely. But I love his run after catch and his blocking, but the injuries have been a little scary. And like you said, if they move towards a RPO-heavy system with Trey Lance, I don't know where Kittle will fit in something like that. Risers, I'm going to go with Gerald Everett. I think Gerald Everett in Seattle has a chance to.
Russell Wilson never really been big to throwing the ball to the tight end, though. Even when they traded for Jimmy Graham, he had struggles with making that chemistry work.
Yeah, I like his speed down the field. At the time when they got Jimmy Graham, he wasn't the same speed threat that Everett is going to bring to their team, I believe. But if I want to even skip out on him, the 2 Iowa guys, Hockenson, I agree with Hockenson, and I'm high on Fant, with the caveat of if they get Aaron Rodgers. That'd be really great for his career.
He becomes a top 5 tight end if they get Aaron Rodgers. I think that's his potential if they get a quarterback like that. For the tight end position, unfortunately, it's a lot riding on the ability of the quarterbacks. If the quarterbacks are good, tight ends will be good. George Kittle is really the only guy who's shown that he can be good with the less than stellar quarterback play. So which is why he gets to be comfortably at number 2. But him and Travis Kelce, obviously.
How about you, Eric? What's your opinions on fallers and risers?
Risers, I would say Logan Thomas would be a riser for me because of the addition of Fitzpatrick, someone who can actually get people the ball a little bit better than what they had.
Yeah. Fitzpatrick's elite.
Fitzpatrick is
he's elite at getting the ball in the defender's hands.
but
okay.
But I think so. They'll have definitely an upgrade for what they had in the.
The only thing I have to say about him is they added 2 receivers that do gimmicky stuff, and that could take away from the inside of the field stuff that he could be getting for Diami Brown and your guy from Carolina, Curtis Samuel.
Yeah. I'm sad he went. But another one would be probably Dallas Goedert. I think he's probably he's probably upgraded to the number 2 weapon in Philadelphia. Because do you
Maybe
think
one if
Now,
Smith's hurt.
Devontae Smith will be one, but he's hurt right now.
Yeah, because what Ertz isn't even going to play, is he?
He'll be
Nah, they're
traded
gonna-
for the season, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll probably get traded.
They'll settle.
So like I think he could be. The only question there is quarterback. How well will he play? But I think
that's a big question, but yeah.
But like I think Jalen Hurts in college used a lot of safety valve, tight end stuff. So like
Yeah.
I think he could get a lot of production out of Goddard with just simple routes to just dump it down.
I hate to shit on Philly, but even questionable with their quarterback plays, I also don't know what type of
You hate to
system
shit
they're
on
running.
Philly. I love to shit on Philly. Shitting on Philly is what gets me up in the morning.
Yeah, I'm lying too. But yeah, not only is their quarterback play questionable, their coaching is questionable too. So how they use Goddard is going to be interesting. Even though I think if he was a guy that could get traded away to a better situation, he would
He'd blow
flourish.
up.
But he's stuck there in Philly where I love to see it. I'm not going to even lie. What about some fallers?
I mean, I agree with Kittle because like he's starting to have injury concerns. I don't see how Waller can fall.
Nah.
Especially if Ruggs isn't going to be the weapon that he could possibly be. They're going to
He doesn't fit well with that quarterback. That's another discussion for another day. But Ruggs and Derek Carr don't match. I don't know why they did that. But
unless they're playing the New York Jets.
And the Jets called cover 0 on Hail Mary.
I think a lot of people forget the play before. Ruggs got behind the defense when they were backed up anyway. So that's just the Jets in general. But yeah, different conversation for a different topic. But yeah, how about some fallers, Eric? Some of the sad side.
Well, based on your list, I think Jonnu Smith will take a fall just because they're doing a tight end by committee with him and Hunter Henry. I think his production will definitely fall back just a little bit, at least, because he'll be sharing time with Hunter Henry. I know they'll be doing
Also, don't trust the quarterback play.
Yeah, and Cam Newton is definitely not 2015 Cam anymore.
When we get there, I'm just gonna sneak it up. I'm banking on Mac Jones' time. He'll be here sooner than later. Cam Newton's another guy that's always hurt a lot now, so I'm pretty sure it'll be Mac Jones' time. And if that happens, if Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith stayed healthy, that could be those could be underrated guys that could actually rise if things broke right. It's like Moody said about tight end, it's all about system, quarterback, and injuries. So like it's a physical position, so injuries are going to happen. So you got to avoid them, and you need good quarterback players who know how to use checkdowns. And Cam Newton is actually one of the worst quarterbacks at using a checkdown. So Eric, I agree that if they have to go a full season of inaccurate Cam Newton, that could be a detriment to stats.
It would be brutal.
Sure.
And Cam does red zone running, so that will take away from touchdowns. And
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
with his 1 yard run.
Great point, Eric. That's a great point.
Yeah. You hit it on the nose with those New England guys. It's really going to be – they're good. I bet those guys are going to be rooting for Mac Jones' season very soon. Anything else we want to finish up before we finish up?
That's
Robert
it. What we got
Tonyan.
coming up next?
Robert Tonyan. Will he score 5 touchdowns for him? He scored 10 last year.
He did. I got a feeling that Aaron's going to be pretty petty this year towards his team, just because we know how Aaron is when he don't like management. So I would be very skeptical of his receiver. Outside of Devontae Adams, I would be skeptical of his receivers' numbers.
Isn't it going to be Devontae's last year too?
Yeah, probably.
Yes. No, they're going to attack him. So
yeah, probably. We'll see. Another different conversation for the next time. But yeah, next we got. I'm pretty sure an interesting receiver, a top 20 for the receivers, because Lord knows there's probably 10 top 20 receivers. You see how I said that right there? I'm sure me and Moody's list will be pretty good lists, but they're going to be pretty different and give you some good insight of how we feel about the receivers in the league. And more division reviews coming. So I'll let Eric take us away for wrapping up.
Yeah, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot for us, and also give us your feedback, share with friends. Yeah.
Comment. We'd love to hear you guys' comments on our list and different things like that. Give us your list. We love the debate.
Absolutely. So, all right, boys. Great talking. See y'all later.
All right, take it easy, everybody out there.